I'm in this late in my career.
You know you have a sexy voice.
Where
Right?
are
If I had to,
the
one word for your voice
clouds?
is sexy. You got that. Is sultry, sexy.
You know, they call it whiskey voice.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not what it is.
Intoxicate me, baby.
Hey, it's Cara, sitting in the comfort of royalty, actually. It feels really weird to be sitting next to you four. I've got Mary Wilson from the Supremes and 3 out of the 4 Four Tops. Awesome. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello.
We know this is Mary.
I'm Spike DeLon. Ronnie McNair.
Lawrence Payton.
And we're only missing Duke because he's slightly under the weather today.
Slightly under the weather.
He's got to perform, so you shouldn't be
Absolutely.
wasting his voice talking.
You see, he and I have a great duet that we do together in this show, and he and I both look forward to doing the song. So stay in and get the voice ready so we can do, because we had to take it out one night,
Ooh.
the song. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that, we were not happy about that.
No. And we're talking about what show that's running right now at the Harris Theater.
Yes, it's the Mary Wilson Holiday Spectacular show. You didn't know that?
I did know that. I wanted them to know.
And we've actually been there since Christmas Eve. Was it Christmas Eve? And we are there through January 5th.
Nice. So, and this is, I mean, Motown music is like the best music for kids, I think. And also, obviously, older generations grew up with it. So this is like a total family show. you
Oh,
have
yeah,
to think.
absolutely.
Well, you know what we always say is that young people can bring their parents in and their grandparents, because those were the ones who grew up with the music and who know the music. And we have been getting a lot of that. We've been getting families, which is really cool. You know, young people. Another thing is that we have choirs that are singing with us each night, a different
right.
choir, and
Your
they've
own
been
local choir.
Oh, that's
She's
fun.
All from Chicago.
All
Different
from
choirs every
Chicago.
night.
Oh, that's awesome.
and
And,
they've
yeah.
been great.
and you're doing Supreme songs, Four Top songs,
Well,
and Christmas songs? Is it?
What? Yes, we are, but it's separate. I mean, you're getting like a concert as well as a production.
That's right.
So the Tops come on and do their show first, and which is great. And I stand in the wings and listen to them because I'm a big Four Top groupie.
Yes, she is. She's really
I-
good.
I have been for years. In fact, I think one of the albums, you can look on the back cover and see me up on stage jamming with them. I just couldn't help myself.
Very good. Very good.
You know, I sort of wish Duke was here because I know he's always got those funny stories of back in the day. Because how long have the Four Tops been together?
Oh,
It's like
since 1954.
Yeah,
This is
that's-
actually this is the 60th anniversary.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Now, he's the
60
founding member, but he's said to me before, because I haven't had a chance to speak to him, that you guys are like family.
All of us knew each other. We started when we were 13 years old. And it was actually a group called the Primes, who 2 of the members went on to become the Temptations. That was Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams. They had a group. Their manager wanted to put together a package deal. And so their manager was dating Florence's sister, and he says, we need to find some girls. She said, well, my sister Flo can really jam. Florence and I had gone to the same elementary school, and so we, through a talent show or whatever, we met. And I admired her voice because she had this really great voice. She did, we like I said, we're 13 years old, and she sang, Ave Maria. And we're 13 years old. I keep saying
Wow.
it, right? And I was singing the Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers song, I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent. So after the show, she and I kind of just migrated together, and we were like admiring each other's voice. And we said, well, if everyone's starting these groups, let's remember each other. And that's what we did. Florence's sisters introduced her to the manager. Florence introduced me, and someone went across the street and found Diane, who was like a little tomboy and knew she could sing, and we all joined the group at the same time. And there were actually 4 of us, because there was another young lady who was also dating one of the guys in the group.
What was
So
her
that's
name?
that's Betty McGlon.
Okay.
And so we started singing, and I think we had a really great group. The 4 of us, we really, really did.
You make it sound like it was sort of easy to get this all going. I'm sure it wasn't. I think people now don't have any concept of the time, the era that this was all getting, that Motown was kicking off. You know, people of color were not getting mainstream radio airplay. That was
That's
unheard
right.
of. So you guys are trailblazers. I mean, did you realize that at the time, or did you?
Well,
Feels
rock
strange.
and roll was new.
Yeah.
You know, this was all new. I mean, obviously we had the forerunners, Chuck Berry and a lot of those guys who at Fats Domino, who, you know, I'm surprised this guy is still alive. I mean, I say that with love because he really was one of the early frontiers of rock and roll. And so we grew up as teenagers listening to them and came right behind them. And everybody wanted to get into music because it was either sports or music. And you had your little groups getting together out on the street corners and the stairwells and and all these different places. So groups were forming at that time. So it was just what was going on.
That's fun. I mean, I don't know. I think it was such a fun time for music. Everything was so new and different and so exciting.
Totally.
Was there a big generation gap, like between the parents, what their kids were doing, and
Well, you know, back in those days, the parents were into the the bebop and the what else? There was lots of big band music and all these kind of things. Of course, you know, you had your Ella Fitzgerald, you know, and Satchmo. So they were into that, and we came right on the tail of end of that.
And
so music. I'm sorry.
No, go
music.
ahead.
Even like now, you know, music changes every decade. Music changes.
it does. But this kind of music, I think, holds its own.
We're lucky. Motown, and I mean, there were so many talented people there. I mean, you know, let's look at the Funk Brothers, you know, who were the musicians there. In fact, we have one of the Funk Brothers' sons playing with the Tops. You had all those great people, the great writers, Norman Whitfield, HDH, you had Smokey Robinson, Mickey Stevenson. We were there when the Stevie Wonder was
I love Stevie
auditioning,
Wonder.
and so Barry, we were like the no-hit supremes at the time. We didn't have a hit record, and we followed Barry Gordy everywhere he went at Motown. And so one day he said, "I want you girls to stay here because I have this little genius coming into the studio." And we're like, what? We're like every bit of 15 and a half, you know, maybe 16. And we're like, genius, wow, this is going to be heavy, right? And then, of course, here comes little Stevie, 8.5, 9 years old in the studio,
Hyper.
you know, like this, picking on us, filling the behinds. And then he jumped up on every instrument and started playing the instruments. I mean, he, you know, the organ, the guitars, the piano, the drums. And so we said, oh, that's what a genius is, you know. So, you know, it's just so many talented people were there. It was really a wonderful experience to be a part of that.
When he moved everything to L.A. from Detroit, did everyone go? Or was
No. Many people stayed, and some kind of got left behind, unfortunately, because of that move. But then, like the Tops, who
Never
stayed,
left Detroit.
Martha
Never
Reeves
left.
never left.
That's right.
Lots of people.
Lots of
Even
people.
Aretha Franklin. You know, Aretha Franklin
Still
was
there.
asked.
Still there.
She was asked to be a part of Motown.
That's right.
And no, she was not. Her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, wanted her to go there, and I think Barry turned her down because he wanted kind of like pop, and you know,
Yeah.
Aretha was more gospel and R&B.
So,
and that kind.
that's right.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
right. It is
I wonder if
amazing.
he regrets that move.
I don't think so because actually Barry made popular music what it is today.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, exactly. Popular music used to be determined by big bands, like you were saying earlier, Count Basie and all those guys,
Sure.
Duke Ellington. It was all of that was pop music. What Barry brought to the table is what popular music has evolved into today.
Mm-hmm.
You look at your Britneys and all of that. That's the same music that Motown cultivated.
Right.
So,
Well, the thing that was great about Motown was that there were so many talented people, and when Barry said, "Well, I want to take some of the ethnic feeling out of the music and make it more for mainstream," because you mentioned this earlier, Carrie, you know, how a lot of music was not played in everyone's home in those days. So Barry's idea about the Motown sound was to make it enjoyable to everyone. And so he took out some of the gospel and made more of the pop out front. But the gospel feeling, the tamarines, all
On the
this stuff
bottom.
is still on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Well, and added the good dance moves, too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
It
you
was
know,
a
back then,
package.
the music made you want to get up and dance.
That's right.
I don't know what it makes you want to do today.
I mean, you know what? Even today, though, when we do shows, the younger people, like you said, grandparents bring their children, and they bring their children to the shows. It's the young children that really inspire me because as soon as they hear this music, and even the young teenagers that's into rap or whatever, they're as soon as they hear this music, they just jump up to their feet and they just get into it. I mean, they really genuinely be into it, you know. So it's something spiritual about that music.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's not just the music, it's the times in the time that music was created, there was a lot going on. Civil rights movement.
Exactly.
Like you said, Barry wanted to integrate the sound, and all of this. Motown encompassed all of that, and it came out through that music.
And that's what's really great about being on the show with the Four Tops, because we're able to still really be authentic and do that music the way it was done then, and it still crosses over, and everyone can enjoy it. So I mean, what I love is I can sit in my dressing room putting my makeup on, and have the intercom on and hear the Tops, and when they start doing one song, I can see I start dancing right there while I'm putting my makeup on. It really is just a wonderful show, and what we're seeing is that people get up and dance throughout the show.
That's awesome. And as a mom, I like hearing my kids sing your lyrics much better than like Kesha lyrics. That's nice.
Whose lyrics?
Like Kesha, you're a Kesha fan?
Right.
Oh.
You're right. It's a different thing.
That's good.
It has a little more melody
Nothing
to it.
against Kesha.
I should really clarify what I'm trying to say is that I really don't listen to the music today, not because I don't like it. I'm so stuck in the old way that's what I listen to. My daughter will get in the car and she'll change the music to what's happening today, and I'm like, oh no. But having said all that, I admire what the young artists are doing today. I think that they've learned certain lessons well, and they've gone beyond that, and they're doing a great job. So I mean, I really want to say that about them, even though I don't really listen to a lot and don't know a lot.
Those dresses are phenomenal. Do you still have those?
I still have many of them, yes, and they go on exhibit all around the world. In fact, I'm hoping to open up an exhibit in Las Vegas. They originally started at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. At the museum there, went on to the Victoria and Albert's Museum in London. So yeah, I have those. And the only reason why I ended up with the gowns was I was the last person in the Supremes, so I ended up with all the gowns. There you go.
It's a good reason, though.
Yeah.
Good.
I preserved history. That's what you did.
Yeah,
that's
I'm glad they didn't go away. Some Facebook people asked me to ask you some stuff, and this is in quotes, so I know she thinks it's not true, but she wanted to know, how long did it take you to become an overnight sensation? I mean,
the Supremes.
Yeah.
Well, we started singing in 1959, and we had our first hit in 1964. So it took a while. That's why we were called the No Hit Supremes.
Yeah. Well, record companies nowadays, I don't think they'd have that patience.
But Motown was very, very good to us. Yes, they were.
In fact, speaking of that, someone else asked, did you have any say in creative decisions, or was it entirely Berry Gordy?
Well, that's a big question, because we're talking about many different things. The music was pretty much the HDH who did our music. Berry was the guy who could say yes or no to whoever brought the music in. We didn't have a lot to say in that area, but we had the great guys: Eddie Holland, Brian Holland, Lamont Dozier. So we didn't need to do any of that stuff. However, if you're talking about our gowns, that was all of our decision. When we first went to Motown, we were, in little pearls that we bought from Woolworths for $5 with cute little dresses, matching socks and skirts and whatever. So we brought a certain amount of class there, and they were smart enough to see it. But they didn't make that. They didn't make that. Our image. That's who we were. So I'm very happy to say that. So there are many areas where we chose. We made decisions. There were many other areas where we did not have the authority to make the decisions, like the name change from Supremes to Dinah Ross. We didn't. That was one of Gordy's ideas, and. So that we had to go along with. So there were many different,
when
areas.
you have to go along with something, it's not always easy, though. I mean,
when you're in a group, it's not always easy, because you have to be able to share. You have to be able to give some in order to make things work. So a lot of times, no. For me, it took me almost 50 years to become who I am today. I had to work at it, because I was singing background for so many years in the Supremes, and people were saying, I said I left all the way to the bank. What can I say? What can I say? But then after that, when both Florence and Diane left, and then I kept the group going through the 70s with Jean Terrell, who brought us many wonderful hits, Linda Lawrence and Sherry Payne. And after that, I had to learn how to sing myself, lead, and go on So it's not always easy.
I'm
but
sure
it took
it's
me a long time to become who I am today.
Well, you sound fabulous. You look fabulous. I was hoping that you had a skincare line or something because you look.
Everyone says that. They
Maybe
all
you should do it.
Maybe I
Yeah.
should do it,
Duh.
right? Well, hey, so out there, hey, L'Oreal, all those companies, CoverGirl, call me.
Hey, did you spend the holidays here in Chicago? I'm assuming
Absolutely,
since
we
your
did.
show's
We
going
did.
on.
We did.
What did you do?
Well, we ate. We had various
got lots
friends
of
and
places
stuff
to
bringing
eat.
us food and everything, and then we went over a couple friends' house. It was just like being at home.
Yes, I had.
Just like being at
I have
home.
family here, and about 35 of us got together yesterday. I had greens and sweet potato pie.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear about that one though.
Well, you're not part of my
I mean,
family.
well, yes, I am. Yes, you just said
You're
we
part
were
of
like
my
one.
Motown family. I'm talking about